Greetings and salutations, friends. My name is Ariana, and today, if you are watching this the day that I am uploading it, which is Sunday, April 19th, it is my 19th birthday. Woo! Very exciting, getting older, fantastic. So, I'm going to be doing 19 sort of movies for 19 years of life. So basically I'm gonna pick my favorite movies from each year I've been alive. Listen, I tried to do one for each year and that's extremely difficult. Also, some years are a little rough, so they're basically movies I like and I just have to pick the one I like the most from that year. But if a movie you love is not featured, don't fret. It could be I just haven't seen it yet. So, without further ado, here are my what tried to be 19 and ended up not being 19 movies. So for 2001, I have 3 movies I sincerely love, but I'm gonna go with the one I love the most, and that has to be Ghost World. It is about these 2 girls who graduate high school, and the main character, Enid, doesn't really know where her life is going, and I won't say too much about it because I'm planning on making a video about it. Some honorable mentions for the year 2001 are Y tu mamá también and Bridget Jones's Diary. I'm gonna have to go with Frida. It is obviously a biopic about the Mexican painter Frida Kahlo. The movie is very special to me, and I actually wrote about it on my website. I wrote a piece about Y tu mamá también and Frida, so if you want to go check that out. Some honorable mentions from 2002 are The Hot Chick, don't judge me, it's a guilty pleasure, Lilo and Stitch, and Enough. Alright, so 2003 was one of those years where I don't love any of these movies, like none of these movies changed my life, but I do enjoy them. So I'm gonna go with the one I've just known the longest, I have rewatched the most, that I have the most fun with, and that is Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. Should a woman have made it? Yes. Is it still a fun time? Yes. Charlie's Angels Full Throttle, if you don't know, it is 3 women who are spies, and they wear skimpy outfits and hurt men. That's what they do. But in Full Throttle, the threat is a woman who's into astrology, so I think we can all relate. Some honorable mentions from this year are Daddy Daycare, Something's Gotta Give, Finding Nemo, which is the first movie I ever watched, Lost in Translation, and Freaky Friday. 2004, it was a pretty close call. It was kind of between 2, but I'm going to go with the one I've rewatched recently and has stuck with me a little bit deeper, and that is Before Sunset. Before Sunset is the second installment of the Before trilogy, and it's basically about these 2 people who are rekindling a relationship, just having conversation as they walk the streets of Paris. Some honorable mentions are Closer, which came in close second. That was a really bad joke. 13 Going on 30, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, and The Incredibles. 2005 was kind of easy because one of my favorite movies of all time came out this year, so it was a no-brainer, although there are a couple other movies that I really love from this year. But for my main one, I'm gonna go with V for Vendetta. It's about revolution, and it's about this woman named Eve who learns to rebel against her government. They live in a very oppressive government, and it's about revolting and standing up for your beliefs after you figure out your beliefs. But some honorable mentions for 2005 are Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants and Robots, which I can quote, my brother and I can quote that movie. It's really fun. 2006, listen, I know that one of my honorable mentions is debatably the better movie than the one I'm gonna choose to say, but if I'm going off of my criteria from before, I want to choose a movie that has stuck with me, that I watch a lot or remember distinctly. So that movie is Night at the Museum. Night at the Museum is a movie with Ben Stiller, and he is a guard at a museum, and at night everything comes to life. So all the statues come to life and everything is living, breathing, walking around the museum. It's about him trying to keep that under control. It was my brother's favorite movie growing up. He would call it Cecil, which is one of the characters in it. So that movie brings my heart a lot of joy. But some honorable mentions for 2006, which is the year I think we're in, are Pan's Labyrinth, Cars, Just My Luck, Over the Hedge, and Unaccompanied Minors. 2007 is a tie because I love these movies so much for very different reasons. Once again, one is probably better than the other, but it's my birthday. I can say whatever movies I want, technically. So The two I want to feature for 2007 are Hairspray, which is a musical about this girl growing up in the 60s, and she really wants to get on this TV show, but she doesn't really stand with their beliefs because it's segregation time and she doesn't believe in segregation, so it's about that whole business. And the second movie is Atonement. Very opposite side of the scale, but Atonement is about these two people in a relationship of sorts, and the young sister of the woman sees them be intimate, and it like traumatizes her, and just sadness, a lot of sad stuff happens, but it's super good. And you're gonna see a lot of Keira Knightley on this list, and that's not a coincidence. I love everything that woman does. Some honorable mentions for 2007 are Ballet Shoes and The Game Plan. 2008, I will not be receiving any criticisms from this. I will die on this hill, but the movie I'm choosing is Speed Racer. Listen, 2008 was another year that was kind of iffy in terms of movies that I love in that time period. There weren't a whole lot. So this is just one that I own on DVD. It makes me happy to watch. I enjoy it, and I love the Wachowskis so much, so I don't care. Speed Racer, if you don't know by the name, is about this guy who races really fast, and it's just about him being a race driver. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. But some honorable mentions from this year are Synecdoche, New York, which is just so different than Speed Racer. Bedtime Stories, and College Road Trip. 2009, my movie, this is a year I had a lot of movies that I liked, but I'm gonna go with the one that I feel the most passionate about because I literally made an entire video on it, but Whip It. Whip It, if you want to see my entire video on it, you can. I won't talk about it too much, but it's about this young girl who is introduced to roller derby, and she loves it and wants to be a part of it, even though her mother wants her to be in pageants. But honorable mentions for 2009 are, ready? He's Just Not That Into You, Angels and Demons, Adventureland, 17 Again, Jennifer's Body, and Zombieland. I'm pretty proud of those. I think those are all really good movies. Listen, this is the most film bro I'm going to get right now, and I'm unashamed of it, but my 2010 movie is Inception. I love Inception. The exposition doesn't bother me. I love Ellen Page's performance. I love Leo DiCaprio in it. I just think it's a really well done movie, and the best way to describe it is it's about dreams and different layers of dreams and how to use that to your advantage. I'll keep it simple since you've learned a lot in that movie. But some really great honorable mentions from 2010 are Black Swan, Alice in Wonderland, which I love that movie, Date Night, and The Runaways. 2011. Okay, these two are neck and neck, but one of them I've just loved for a longer period of time, and I feel very strongly about this movie. The movie I'm going to talk about is Sucker Punch. I know a lot of people hate that movie. When it came out, everyone ranked on it. I just happen to think it's extremely misunderstood. Sucker Punch is about this woman who, by her awful stepdad, is sent to a psychiatric hospital, a mental institution, where they basically give the women to men like pawns and then lobotomize them. It's really awful, but it has to do with dancing and fantasy, and I just feel like it's really misunderstood, so whatever. But my second, like close second for this year is Rango. I recently rewatched Rango, and I have a newfound appreciation for it, so I definitely recommend you watch Rango.
Ooh, my back hurts. Jesus.
So for 2012, my favorite movie was Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. Also a Keira Knightley movie. She is alongside Steve Carell, and they play neighbors, and the world is about to end in a couple days, and they go on an adventure to visit his high school sweetheart. Lorraine Scafaria, the director of Hustlers, directed this, so if you liked Hustlers, you might like this. But honorable mentions for the year 2012 are Silver Linings Playbook and Anna Karenina. In 2013, I have to do this because these movies are so special, but my movie is going to be Before Midnight, which is the third installment in the Before trilogy that I referenced earlier. So now it's 9 years later. It's just about these two people having conversation again, figuring out where they are in their lives and their relationships, where they are geographically. It's about adult issues like that. But 2013 honorable mentions are Frances Ha, of course, Catching Fire, Begin Again because Keira Knightley, and that's all of them. 2014, I'm gonna have to go with The Book of Life. I absolutely love The Book of Life. It makes my heart so warm. It's an animated movie about these 3 young kids, a girl and 2 guys, and it's about them growing up and this love triangle, but it's also set in Mexico, and it's the Day of the Dead, and there's some death going on. Crazy stuff. But some honorable mentions for 2014 are Comet and Gone Girl, which I've seen way too many times. Okay, 2015 was easily like the heaviest year of movies I love, and it was a big struggle trying to pick the best one, but just know I genuinely love all these movies so much and I just had to pick one. So the one I choose to showcase for 2015 is Mistress America. It's just a movie that came out at a good, it didn't come out at a good time. I was 14, but I watched it at a good time in my life where it really spoke to me. I actually wrote an entire piece about that on my website if you'd like to go check that out. But it's about this freshman in college in New York City, and she doesn't really know who she is as a writer or as a person or what she wants to do and who she wants to be. So she becomes friends with her soon-to-be stepsister, which is Greta Gerwig, and it's about their relationship. But 2015 honorable mentions that I all love: The Lobster, Sleeping with Other People, The Diary of a Teenage Girl, Pixels, I'm not taking criticism, Crimson Peak, oh my god, I love Crimson Peak, Spotlight, The End of the Tour, and Anomalisa, another Charlie Kaufman movie for you. Listen, this is kind of an obvious answer, but it has to be said. I'm gonna make this one of those tiebreaker ones. I like these movies for different reasons, and they touched me for different reasons. So for 2016, the movies that I love are La La Land and 20th Century Women. I'm sure everyone and their mother knows what La La Land is about, but it's basically about these 2 people. One of them loves jazz, one of them loves acting, and it's about them trying to make it in Los Angeles while also making their relationship work. And 20th Century Women is about this young boy with a single mom, and his mom talks to the other women in his life about helping her raise him, that she really wants to raise him to be a good man and have a good relationship with women. Some honorable mentions for 2016 are The Edge of 17, Certain Women, Colossal, I have to rewatch that, and The Conjuring 2. Alright, I feel like if you know me, you know the answer's coming a mile away. It's another tiebreaker, but 2017 is Lady Bird and Table 19. Lady Bird is about this high school senior named Christine who goes by Lady Bird, and it's about her dealing with her last year of high school and also her dealing with her rocky relationship with her mother. I watched this movie with my mom in theaters, and as I've gone to rewatch it multiple times, it has just changed me and affected me in a new way every single time. So I hold it very close to my heart. Table 19 is about these group of people who get invited to a wedding, and they all get sat at this sort of like loser table, which is table 19, and it's about how they bond and become friends and do wacky stuff during the wedding, but it has a really good soundtrack. Honorable mentions are, there's a lot: Call Me By Your Name, Get Out, Baby Driver, The Shape of Water, How to Talk to Girls at Parties, Kong Skull Island, Atomic Blonde, It Comes at Night, and The Big Sick. That was a big year. Okay, 2018, I'm gonna go with BlacKkKlansman. I really love BlacKkKlansman. That theme song never leaves my head. Every 5 minutes, I think I'm like, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, it's so good. It's chills every time. BlacKkKlansman, the name kind of gives it away, but it's about this black cop named Ron. He basically tricks the leader of the KKK chapter in his neighborhood into thinking that he's a white man interested in joining in order to get some intel on their activities and what they're doing in the neighborhood, and it's super good. Honorable mentions are Suspiria, Set It Up, and The Kindergarten Teacher, which is one of my favorite movie endings of all time. 2019, okay. So, last year, I was nervous about saying this because I don't like the response I get from people when I choose that this movie's my favorite. I think they look down on me for it, or they are like, go figure, and they feel like I just like it because, women, and that's not it. I feel like that's an injustice to not only me, but to the filmmaker and the movie. So, to just say it, my favorite movie from 2019 was Hustlers. I saw it twice, and it truly was an experience for me as a filmmaker to watch. Don't think it's a perfect movie, but I really fell in love with it, and it reignited my love for filmmaking and made me re-remember that I do want to do this. I do want to make movies. And if you don't know, Hustlers is about these strippers in the 2008 recession who decide to drug and take money from these really rich and powerful Wall Street men. So it's a controversial topic that I think she handles pretty well. But honorable mentions, I literally love all these movies so much. I'm so passionate about all these movies. Little Women, Pain and Glory, and Knives Out. Alright, so since I'm not technically 20 yet, I can't choose a 2020 movie, out of like the 6 that have come out this year. But as of right now, a little bonus, I would say I really loved Birds of Prey, I really loved Emma, and I really loved The Hunt. I know it's controversial to say that, but I really love Betty Gilpin and everything that she does. But yeah, those are my favorite movies from the last, 19 years. I'm old. But I don't know, it's really crazy because I remember this time last year, I was about to graduate high school. That's my graduation cap over there. I was extremely scared and nervous about turning 18, and I felt like I wasn't ready and time was going by too fast, and look at that. It's already been a year since then.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.